All right, this is Tim Cain on marketing.
Hi, everyone. It's me, Tim.
Hi, Tim.
Today, I want to talk about marketing. I have a love hate relationship
I
with marketing,
imagine.
and I'm going to talk about that.
Shit.
And I kind of need to break it up. Part of it is I've loved working with some marketing folks, and I haven't loved working with some marketing folks, and
Same.
I've loved some marketing campaigns that have been done, and I haven't loved some marketing campaigns that have been done.
Same.
And I just want to talk about marketing kind of in general. Now, I'm on record as saying I liked the marketing that was done for the Outer Worlds. I've got a video that I'll link below called Marketing the Outer Worlds. What I loved about that, a quick summary, is the people I got involved with, which was, Private Division and then parent company, Take Two. And then they brought in a really cool company to do the trailers. The name of the company was Buddha Jones. These people got the game. And by that, I mean they actually took the time to watch playthrough of the game, to talk to us, to talk to different people on the team, and they understood the game being made.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how often that doesn't happen, by the way. There are a lot of marketing companies that will just say, okay, send us some footage, we'll make a trailer out of it. Tell us the tone, give us a script. Or usually they will write a script or they'll offer a script. It really just depends on what you want them to do and what you don't want them to do. But there is a unfortunate, rather commonplace thing. I wouldn't say like super common, but it happens where it's just these companies will just do the bare minimum. They don't care about the game. They don't want to know about it. But the ones that take the time to play your game, to sit down and understand what it's trying to be, and especially the tone of it, can make an effective trailer, right? You don't want a humorous trailer made for a game that is maybe more emotional and deep and depressing in some cases. Not that you can't have maybe some levity in there to help break up the pacing or show that the game isn't just one note, but it needs to be consistent with the themes and with the direction of the game.
And then they took the time, worked with great people, got us great music, put together great trailers. And I think what I loved about it was not only were they good to work with, and it's really good to work with people who get the game you're making.
Yes.
But at one point, I even told them that because The Outer Worlds was a game with a lot of humor in it, they had to go the extra mile to understand that humor. And it did. It took a while, but once they got it, they got it. And I felt like the trailers for The Outer Worlds did capture the essence of The Outer Worlds. And let me just tell you that if you're planning to make a game,
We are.
don't dismiss marketing. Marketing
We won't.
is absolutely necessary
Yes,
these
it is.
days to sell your game. There are so many games out there. There are a ton of publishers, there's a ton of indies, there's a ton of storefronts. There
And we can even prove it. Steam new releases. Let's show you all the games that just came out today that you will never ever hear about, for better or worse. And I view all new releases. Femdom Farm. Feel yourself as a pathetic slave at Femdom Farm, whose sole purpose is to serve the dominant mistress. Okay, maybe some of you will know about that one. But it's like look at the time today. It is the 15th today, okay? Starting here, Pirates Money, August 15th, 2024. Everything above this was released today. And today's not even over. We can even filter it by can't we show only show games. Starting here with Pirates Money, all of these came out today. Just games. How many of you were excited for a new game release today? I bet very few of you, and it's not to say that these games aren't good, but it's if you didn't know about this, if you didn't know about these games, and one of these you look at and say, well, actually, that one there, like, I don't know, Dawn of Defiance, that did look interesting to me. That does look interesting. I would buy that. Well, guess what? Did you ever hear about it? No. Well, then the marketing certainly didn't do its job, right? Review all of them, right? So, it's just to point out that games are coming out every single day, lots of them. You do not want to end up in this farm, if we want to go with the femdom farm route, this farm of throwing your game out there, hoping that it's going to get success, and in reality, you're going to have maybe 100 people buy your game maximum. I mean, it's not even like Chew Chase is not a fun game. Interesting. That is quite an interesting idea. 4 user reviews. That's it. I don't know. What I'm saying, Tim Cain is not wrong on this. You absolutely need marketing, and if you're an indie developer, do not sleep on that. Do not think you can do it yourself. If you want to commercialize your game, if you want to end up trying to make money off of it, you need to market it. If you don't do that, things aren't going to go very well.
There are a ton of games in every genre. There are just so many games. And as I've mentioned, because of game engines like Unity and Unreal and Godot and Game Salad,
He
the
says Godot
barrier to
properly.
entry is incredibly low.
Yes, it is.
There are people out there that are making games by themselves, one person games that look really good, that play really good, and do really well. All of this is great. It's great for you, but how do you find these games?
Yep.
I've talked about how discoverability is so
It's bad.
hard these
Really
days.
bad on Steam.
Well, that's where marketing comes in. A good marketing campaign will connect the people who want to play your game with your game. So why do I hate marketing sometimes? Marketing can really, really rub me the wrong way.
Well, it can be handled poorly, and especially if it's just done wrong, or sometimes you only have one chance to make that first impression, right? And if the first impression by a marketing team is done poorly, people will dismiss the game entirely. A lot of times there are great games that come out that, because an initial trailer or screenshots were kind of shit, people will never look at that game again. And it's like you've ruined it. You've screwed it up. You messed up your one chance. Or if they try to build hype too early, or they have too large of gaps between trying to build up hype. This all needs to be managed well. It needs to be a marketing campaign. It needs to be an entire planned schedule of release for various aspects of the game. And and you think whatever you want about Starfield. Think whatever you want about Bethesda. Bethesda does marketing campaigns extraordinarily well. Now, you could say that they shouldn't have announced Elder Scrolls 6 too early. I agree. That was stupid, and they did it because they were trying to make up for bullshit from Fallout 76. But when it comes time for them to start showing gameplay and talking about what their game is, they do this in a beautiful week-to-week basis that continues to build on the hype and show you more and more. How'd the called publisher go? Neutral. It wasn't like a good or bad thing. It was like, hey, let's just connect up again and share with me the new build, and we'll see what happens. So, like, we'll see.
The biggest problem I've had with marketing people is that they don't really understand the game
No,
that I'm making,
they don't.
and they don't even try. Now I get it. For some of the places I've worked, there were just people who were overwhelmed. There were so many games being put out that they didn't have a lot of time to spend on each individual game. I get that. Doesn't mean I like the work they did. If you do bad work and your excuse is you were under pressure, I understand it. I still don't like your work.
Yeah, it's not an excuse. It's like, well, then maybe don't schedule doing so much shit or get more people on your team. Like it, you, no matter how good you might be at your work, if you are doing too much shit at one time, you will never be doing worse than if you were managing and organizing your own work. So good in the words of Lloyd, so you're telling me there's a chance. There is a chance. And even if it is a no for now, I doubt, considering the relationship that I have with the connection at the publisher, I doubt that it would be a permanent no. So that's fine too.
And so, because of that, there have been advertising campaigns for my games that I haven't liked. And I even talked about this when
Same.
I have a video about the Fallout 1 and 2 covers. And I talked about how there was this marketing person who just spat tropes at my face. He just spat things at me like, here are the rules. And in that case, he said covers have to have faces on them. They just have to.
No,
You,
they
you
don't.
don't understand. You can't have power armor, helmet. You got to show the person's face underneath. And like I said in that video, the whole time he's telling me that, I'm looking at the box for Descent, Interplay's best-selling game in 1996, the year before Fallout came out, that just has a blue ball on the cover. And what I quickly learned was marketing people love to talk about all these rules. And to me, coming from hard science, engineering, computer science, these aren't rules. They're not hard and fast. They're not even like soft science rules like biology or psychology. These rules change all the time.
Yeah, it's same with game design. It's like there are very few rules that I would say are still viable for game design that worked 20 years ago that still work now. And it's the same with marketing. I've talked about it before. I said marketing and game design are very similar because the rules are ever changing and you're trying to create experiences and emotions in people. And sometimes breaking the rules, breaking the conventions can leave the most lasting appeal with players. I mean, everybody can think of the cover art for Oblivion and Skyrim, right? I'm sure most of you can if you bought them uh, on console or but you bought the physical version at some point, right? It's the logo. It's the logo with some background texture. It's very simple, but it's memorable because it is kind of minimalistic. The contrast is good. I'll show you the contrast. Especially, I think Oblivion box art was really nice. Contrast. There's no face on this. And same with Skyrim. Everybody knows this stuff. Knows what this looks like. It's legendary. Because it doesn't need to. You don't need to stick to conventions. Sometimes just doing simple designs are memorable. Yeah, it's you know the logo. That's it. It's good contrast. And I assume that Morrowinds is probably pretty similar, right? Oh yeah, yep. Okay, yep. I remember that one too. I remember that now. And it's consistent. It's consistent with the series. I think that Doom also had something. Oh no, Doom had the Doom guy on there. Yeah, that's right. But it didn't have a face. It's just the Doom guy, because that's all you need to know. He doesn't have a face. He is you. You are him. But he's right. Tim's right. Just like there are no rules to good marketing. Whatever the rules are, whatever works. And that can depend on the time of the year. It can depend, like if you market a movie that has Christmas in it, or that's based around Christmas, like Home Alone, or hell, even Die Hard, people consider that a Christmas movie. If you put out a little marketing that shows some of that Christmas aspect, people are going to jump on that. Half-Life was a good one too. Yeah, I remember now. What did Portal's box art look like? Portal's was pretty minimal. Oh yeah. Die Hard is indeed a Christmas movie. Yes, it is.
Just go back 20, 30 years and look how products were sold and now look how they're sold now. They're not sold the same way.
No, they're
The
not.
rules change
Yep.
because the rules are just made up. And they have a purpose to them. They're trying to spin your game to make people want to buy them, and people's taste change, so therefore the rules have to change with
Hmm.
it. But the problem with them spinning the game, especially if they don't understand the game that's being made, is they often tout the wrong things about your game. They try to show an RPG as an action game, or they try to show a game as a mystery or a thriller, and it's not. That's not the main thing about the game. And if they had taken a little time, they probably could have made a really good advertising campaign that talked about the things that were really appropriate.
I know that the creative director for Just Cause, he had a there was a conference or like a talk that I went to, and he mentioned that for all of the marketing meetings, he insisted on being there for every single one of them, so that whatever was being said to the players was something he thought would be factual, or that he I guess I could rephrase it as he wanted to make sure that nothing incorrect was being put into marketing materials, and that the way that the game was being talked about was accurate to what the game was. And I think that that's a smart move from his point of view. He said it was difficult sometimes to keep up with it, or difficult to make all the meetings, but he did it, and he felt like it was worth it. So yeah, I can agree with that.
But for whatever reason, budget, time pressure, whatever,
It's a cyber fact.
you frequently get marketing campaigns that are kind of phoned in.
I had a marketing campaign
And
once
just
for
as a caveat,
our train game that was listed as being ultra realistic when the game was very, very semi realistic. Like, we were inspired heavily by Euro Truck Sim's model of getting some things accurate and other things saying, whatever, that doesn't need to be realistic. Uh, Apparently, the marketing team didn't figure this out.
sometimes I've been involved in my games marketing a lot more and a lot less. I mean, it's been
That
varying
pissed me off.
degrees. Sometimes my entire involvement in a marketing campaign was being brought in to see an ad when it's already done, and they're just asking for my sign off. And often my sign off is only like, is everything spelled correctly? Are these actual screenshots? That kind of thing.
We had a trail. I don't know if I can say this. I think the trailer is released publicly. Oh, God, I maybe I should be a little careful. I think there was a trailer that was released publicly for our game that used incorrect statistics that were just like made up, like just a made up number to refer to one of our game's features. And we saw it only after it was pretty much finalized, and we're like, that number is like 10 times larger than it is in our game. Like, players are going to have the incredibly wrong expectations of what this game is based on this number. I'm pretty sure it was publicly released, so I don't want to be too specific about it, but...
So, as I kind of
It
went
happens.
through my career, I kind of started viewing marketing like I do insurance. You need it, but there's a lot of things about both of them that I don't like. Both of them involve legal stereotyping, that they literally stereotype people, and they
Yeah.
can do it, and they argue they have to do it. The example with car insurance that just gets me to this day is I was surprised. I've talked about how my first game job was when I was 16. Well, my mom had we had a second car that I could use to drive to my game job in the afternoon after.
And because he's listed as somebody who drives the car, now the insurance for that car goes up because he's driving it, and statistically, young kids get in a lot of accidents.
After high school, but my mom needed to put me on the insurance, and we met with the insurance guy who had done all of my brothers and sisters before me, and it was a lot of money. And my mom was like, I don't understand, he's a straight A student, he's never had a car accident.
16-year-old male.
He'll be driving on off hours, I won't be driving during rush hour or anything. And he just said, he's a teenage boy, teenage boys drive badly.
Yep.
Now, I was a good driver, but most teenage boys aren't.
Yep.
And I paid for that.
Yep.
And insurance is allowed to do that. Insurance is allowed to charge you more based on your gender. Let that sink in for a second.
I think they also do it based on ethnicity as well.
It is the one thing out there that has allowed you to discriminate on you based on your gender, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're a male, you'll pay more. Now there were
You know,
studies.
I bet you could make a pretty damn good lawsuit out of that. I bet you could. Maybe somebody already has, but that seems like it should violate U.S. discrimination laws.
Showed that at the time the reason women
Age and whether you're married or single. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. There's got to be a lawsuit in there somewhere.
looked like they were better drivers was because they drove less. Back in the 70s and 80s, women drove less than men. The average woman driver had fewer miles per year than the average male driver. But from the insurance company, they don't care about that. They're not insuring you by the mile. They're insuring you for a time period, and you pay for that. So if men drive more, then there'll be more accidents, they pay more. I found marketing to have a similar mindset.
That's crazy, Slavical.
They would look at your
That's
game,
so dumb.
try to decide who was the demographic, and then everyone playing your game was put into some bucket, and then a marketing campaign was created to fit the people in that bucket. Did I always agree with the bucket? No. Often I wasn't in the bucket.
But I think that
I'm not.
I think the bucket is. It's like this. Let me open a Paint. Let's make an NFT. You have bell curve, right? It's kind of a shitty bell curve. Hold on. I think the bucket is like this. And so there are people that are going to be interested outside of the bucket, but you're getting most of the people. The background needs to be black, otherwise you're doing it wrong. Okay, let me make the background black for you there. Look, now it says, oh, whoa.
I'm hard to market to. I am not the typical 50-something white male. A lot of things that get advertised to me.
Yeah, but you're a game developer,
are
Tim.
not things I want. Now, new marketing is getting better, especially online. They're tracing you. They're not. They just don't know
tracing
your
you,
age
chat.
and maybe your zip code. The more they know about you, the more they track where you go, what you look at, what you buy, and then they remember that exactly for you.
Kurwa.
And I will admit that, these days when I allow ads to reach me, the ads that are getting to me are about chocolate and video games. Great. I've even learned about some video games through advertising campaigns.
Yeah, it's very uncommon because most of the shit that I get served is like drivel, scammy mobile games, right? But sometimes I do see a game that's like, you know what? Okay, I'll at least check it out. I'm not gonna click on the link to check it out. I will open up a separate tab to check it out. I don't know why, but that's just the way that I do it.
Usually I hear about them through all the channels that I have.
It should be free wise from Eastern
Occasionally
countries.
something will come out and I'm like, what is this?
It was our
I played a game during the pandemic that wasn't an RPG, was an indie game. I just stumbled upon it and I played a ton of it. But at least I'm
I bet it was Honey Pop.
getting ads that are relevant to me when they get to me, as opposed to 20 years ago where I would get ads for diapers or sports cars, neither of which I was interested in buying. So marketing has gotten better. I think marketing people have gotten better. I can certainly tell you within the last 5 years, I've worked with way better marketing people than I did 20, 30 years ago. But
Still happens.
for those out there who are going, yeah, I hate marketing, I hate it. You need it now more than ever. More than ever, you need marketing because there are just too many games coming out. It doesn't matter if you restrict it by platform and by genre. If you have something special about it that will get you some interviews and some press,
Sequel type.
you still need some good marketing. So what I'm trying to say here is marketing is super important,
It is.
and it's gotten
Yep, yep.
better. It's not perfect, and you're going to have to do some work on your side to make sure that the people marketing your game understand the game that you're making, and try to have a little control over the marketing campaign so you know that what's being sold is really what your game is about. And I think that's what I wanted to talk about overall in marketing. Just it's a necessary, not an evil, it's a necessary thing. So try to do good with it.
I think it can be an evil. I mean, that's another great video by Tim, of course. Classic Tim. I would just say like get involved. Get involved in the marketing for your game. I mean, this is your game. And if your marketing team or the people that are in charge of getting it in front of the right eyes, in front of your actual audience, isn't doing that, or what they're putting in front of people's eyes is just clearly a lie, then you need to be involved in making sure that that's being done accurately and being handled well. So just be careful of who you get to do the marketing and what they know about your game. Um, the more involved, the better. But of course, that takes time and energy, and that's hard to have when you're an indie dev or when you're in a high position. Somebody who would know about the game, but you have tons of other responsibilities. That's what I would say. Be careful, yeah. I actually do think that Outer Worlds does have pretty good marketing. I know Outer Worlds 2 had a trailer. I don't know if it's had any new ones, though. No, it was just this one from 3 years ago. Ooh, a Stalker 2 trailer. Watch that sometime. We will be doing Stalker 2 on stream. But yeah, that was great. Not surprised that's getting involved in his advice. In all the Tim reaction videos I've seen, he seems like someone who's always involved. Yeah. He seems to me like that entrepreneurial mind and individual who is very passionate about making games and passionate about playing games. So I'm not surprised that he's getting involved and deep diving into things like that. So thank you, YouTube, for watching that one. I will check you next time on that one. So see more. Bye bye. Bye bye, YouTube.